And next, to speak about Senate Bill 520, a bill to create a better system of compassionate medical release for those who are incarcerated, I'd like to welcome Kyle Hedquist, Policy and Outreach Associate at the Oregon Justice Resource Center, OJRC. Kyle.
Thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. It is exciting to see so many great people coming together to advocate down at the Capitol. I want to start by saying that a priest, a Lutheran, and a Buddhist walked into prison. No, this is not a joke. This was my life. 28 years ago, I was sentenced to life in prison. Sorry. And last year, I was released by Governor Brown. An answer to a lot of prayers from a lot of good people. But I'm not here to necessarily talk about my story. I am fortunate enough to be employed with OJRC, and they said, Kyle, with 28 years of life experience inside, we want you to go down to the Capitol and work with legislators and, do what you do. I spent many years inside advocating for fellow prisoners inside, and part of that was through the hospice program. I was a part of that program for 23 years, sat with hundreds of individuals who had been diagnosed terminally ill, many from the lifestyle that they had led, drug addiction, violence, houselessness, all these issues that are being talked about today and at the Capitol through legislation you see in prison. The difference is in prison, it's right in your face. Sometimes it's easy to drive by a homeless encampment or to see someone who is obviously having a rough day. But in prison, you can't escape that. So it's in your face every day. So I do appreciate the effort from this group and others to make changes that are compassionate. I understood fully the arm of justice with the state of Oregon, but it was people of faith that bring mercy, that bring compassion, that bring love to that arm of justice. SB 520 actually is a bill that could save taxpayer dollars. You won't see a lot of that. However, this is one. Very simply put, Oregon has a compassionate release mechanism. The problem is it takes about 6 to 9 months to complete. When people are diagnosed terminally ill with less than a year left in their life, 6 to 9 months is not long. And only about 7% of applicants ever see any relief. A matter of fact, in the last 8 years, only 7 people were able to complete that process, while about 300 people passed away. So who are these people that we're talking about? Most of these people were veterans. It's an aging population, and so you see a high number of veterans. You see a high number of fathers and grandfathers who, yes, committed a crime, came to prison. As one legislator told me just yesterday, well, if they're sentenced to 10 years, then the law says they have to serve 10 years. My answer was, well, they're going to die in 3 months. So 10-year sentence is not applicable at this point. SB 520 brings that compassionate arm that I believe, especially in this room, is a value to Oregonians. That prison is not designed to be a house of death. Prison is not designed to be a nursing home or a long-term care facility. And that these men and women have loving families, have children, are veterans, have other forms of support outside of a prison setting. And I can tell you personally, prison is not a nice place to pass away. However, surprisingly, there are a lot of really nice guys taking care of the dying. And so on that point, the hospice program transformed my life and many, many lives of my fellow prisoners. But I think we would all agree that while we're there to provide as much care and compassion as we possibly can, it eliminates the family. As you may know or not know, it is not easy to get into a prison, one, just to visit someone. It's even more difficult to bring children into the physical facility itself. There are many rules governing that, preventing children and minors from even entering the prison. The infirmary is inside the prison. It's not inside the visiting room, making it virtually impossible for children, grandchildren, and loved ones to visit their loved ones that are incarcerated. So I urge you to think about it, read about it. You can go on OLIS. It's in Ways and Means. Just to give you a rough number and finish up, Oregon taxpayers, everyone in this room, including myself now, pay about $50 million a year to the Department of Corrections for health care. They always go over $50 million that they ask taxpayers to pay. By letting out 3 to 5 people a year, you can save about $3 million. And so it's really easy to see how this bill saves millions. Now, what does that million can be used for? Improving health care for the rest of the people that are incarcerated, or improving behavioral health. You know, that money's not going to leave DOC. It's just going to be used better. And you don't see a lot of bills that talk about better efficiency of tax dollars and ultimately saving money. And so SB 520 is a great bill that does all those things, and I appreciate your guys' support, and I appreciate seeing everyone here, and I love the shirt. Thank you.